A North Texas woman believed for a decade that she caused the car accident that killed her fiance. She pled guilty to criminal charges, but now believes GM is to blame. Fox 4's Natalie Solis is here now with her story. Natalie.
Well, Heather, Candace Anderson is suing General Motors, alleging that the car company covered up problems with faulty ignition switches. She went the following 10 years after the accident as a convicted felon, thinking she killed the love of her life.
To move forward, we want them to admit their guilt.
31-year-old Candace Anderson behind the wheel of her new Saturn in November 2004 when it veered off a rural road in Canton, southeast of Dallas, and crashed into a tree. Anderson suffered head injuries, a severed liver, ruptured spleen, broken ribs, and femur. Her fiancé, 25-year-old Michael Erickson, a father of two, died.
For 10 years, I thought I caused the death of my best friend. You know, it's a lot to carry.
Anderson and Erickson's mother sued GM following the accident, but settled for $75,000. GM, according to Anderson's attorney, blamed her in that suit.
Because it was so minimal.
Anderson had trace amounts of an anti-anxiety medication she'd taken the day before in her system, and there were no evasive action skid marks. She pled guilty to criminally negligent homicide.
5 months before I pled guilty, they knew. They had the investigation, everything was going on. They sat on their hands and watched me go through that. It's unbelievable.
According to court documents to reopen the lawsuit, GM covered up issues with faulty ignition switches. Anderson says the pivotal piece of evidence is a recent letter from the National Highway Safety Administration. She says it confirms what GM would never admit, that Erickson is one of 13 deaths included in the automaker's investigation of a safety defect in the ion.
It was senseless. It could have been fixed for 57 cents, you know, the part.
Anderson wants vindication and GM held accountable in her case and the other 12 recall-related deaths, even if it means reopening a painful wound.
It's literally like going back to that time period.
All right, well, we asked GM for a response, and they provided a statement saying, "We are taking responsibility for what has happened by taking steps to treat victims and their families with compassion, decency, and fairness. We made serious mistakes in the past, and as a result, we're making significant changes in our company to ensure they never happen again." Heather?
Natalie, that's so sad for her. What happens next in this lawsuit?
Right. Okay. So in the next few months, a judge will have to decide whether to move forward. Now, Anderson's attorney is basically alleging fraud by GM during that first civil suit. If a judge finds that that is true, the case will proceed. Now, Anderson is not asking for any specific amount of money in the suit, but someone with her attorney's office tells me that it should be enough to cover her medical bills and the mental pain and anguish for her family and the family of Michael Erickson.
All right, we'll keep following it. Natalie, thank you.
All right, thanks.